there. Welcome back to Performance Cafe. It is great to be speaking to you again today. And I'm still on the month of love. I'm still talking about the book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace by Gary Chapman and Paul White. And today we're going to start delving into what the languages really are. So there are 5 languages: words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, physical touch, and tangible gifts. Now, let's start with the easy one. Right at the top, we've got words of affirmation. And I think we all respond well to that. We all know how that gets done. So, for example, it is like saying, thank you for the help to get us through that project. I really appreciated it. Or maybe something like, I really see how you've been working to, get the team to gel better together and to work together better. I really appreciate that. So those are words of affirmation, words that show where that person has been contributing and can continue to contribute. Now, the interesting thing about words of affirmation is that one needs to be a little bit wary, because some people love affirmation in public and some people don't. So while appreciating that people might enjoy words of affirmation, don't assume that they always want to be praised in front of other people, that they always want to be made a fuss over in front of other people. And I normally find that a good way to find out how people like to handle this is to see, how do they handle it in others? If you say, oh yes, we're going to show appreciation for someone, or they've won an award or a prize, do they say, oh yes, party and speeches and balloons? Or do they say, okay, are you going to be doing this in your office, away from everyone? So that's words of affirmation. And lovely thing about this, they work as well at home as what they work at the office. So for spouses, parents, children, aunts and uncles, there's ample place to practice words of affirmation. The next one is then quality time. Quality time is an odd one. What does that constitute? So if we think of a couple dating, it would be the ability to go out, whether it being Valentine's Day, quality time, Valentine's Day evening, a nice gift, maybe some flowers, at a beautiful restaurant, no interruptions, some serious one-on-one time, where, the couple can sit and discuss what's important to them, focus on themselves and not the rest of the world. So remember, this book is based on the 5 love languages. That was the original version and was used for relationship counseling. So if we take a look and we move that relationship into the business context, what is quality time? Quality time is that opportunity where a boss walks up to the team member's office or their seating space, drops down in the chair, says, hey, what's going on with you? How's the project coming along? And then really being in the moment and listening and responding and seeing where they can maybe even assist with something that's maybe not happening as they would like it. I am a big quality time person. That is definitely my love language. And I remember my favorite time was when my boss used to say, come, let's quickly grab a cup of coffee, go to my office and just have a 5-minute chat, just you and I, we haven't spoken for a while. Let's just catch up. These are what people enjoy. And notice that when we talk about quality time, we're often talking about one-on-one, so that we can establish real connection, right? Quality time is not you and that person and 5,000 of your closest friends at a team building function. Then next up, we have acts of service. Acts of service are when we do those little things to make people's lives easier. It's that opportunity we say, hey, I'm going out for a coffee. To go and pick up a coffee, can I bring back one for you? The interesting thing about acts of service is, yes, surely people do love it when you are a real support to them and spend time with them. But I think often we underestimate the power of a small act of service. I'm going to the printer, when we used to work in offices, I'm on my way to the printer. Have you printed something? Can I bring it back for you? I'm on my way to IT. Did that thing get fixed? Can I maybe follow up on that for you? And it is that kind of thing that means that that person can do more of what is even more important to them. And so that is what we see when we speak about acts of service as part of a love language in an organization. And the thing I like about acts of service is very often the people who appreciate acts of service as their love language, they often they display that quite prominently by always being busy doing acts of service for other people. And so they never get time to do acts of service for themselves. And so that is why it's so beautiful when you can identify that and do that little thing that's really going to help them. Next up is tangible gifts. Now, tangible gifts is the obvious one. I mean, if we talk about a love language, we think love, we think, you know, Valentine's Day gifts and birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and festival gifts and what have you not. But it's actually quite difficult in an organization to have tangible gifts as a love language, because very often in organizations, when we are gifting, we have to watch out because there's all kinds of corporate government measures around what we can give and how much we can give and who we can give to. But again, I think, you know, something that is meaningful to someone, even if it's just a small thing that can show appreciation. So for example, their favorite packet of biscuits, that's likely not to raise any alarm bells. You know, we don't have to give everyone a Mercedes, you know, to show our appreciation for them, no matter how nice that would be. And I also think, you know, just be aware of what people have in the environment. So if you're going to give someone a gift, just go and look at, I don't know, their Facebook page, go and look at their desk if they still have one in an office. Just make sure that when you give the gift, it is something that they will find they can use. Or give them something such as a pen or a candle, something that they can use and they can use up, so that they're not stuck with something that they might not find place for in their environments. But again, sometimes a little slab of chocolate, not if someone's on a diet, then it's avos or oranges or apples that we're giving them. It's about showing a little appreciation. It's not about drowning people in it. And very often, the strong aspect of this is the fact that you've paid attention enough to either identify their love language, or you've sat down and you've been interested enough to ask them, so what is your love language? Or in this case, your language of appreciation in business. Now, the last language of appreciation, well, that's a bit of a tough one, because the last language of appreciation that we learned from the love languages is that of physical touch. Now, as we all know, and as we're becoming aware, instances of abuse at offices and stuff are becoming more rife, and therefore physical touch is normally not acceptable in an office space. And so if someone does have a love language of physical touch, maybe find out what their next preference is, because remember, they're five, and we don't always just have to stick to one. If someone has a very strong preference for physical touch as a language of appreciation, then the one thing we can do is offer a handshake, especially when COVID lets us, because that is still physical touch. But always make sure with someone whether that is what they appreciate. Sometimes in an office space, we might find that while someone is consoling us, they put a hand on our shoulder or on our elbow. Again, it's probably showing support. It probably would fall within the realm of physical touch, as it's not inappropriate. But again, rather check the policies at the office and make sure the person you're talking to, how do they feel about it? And find out, as I said, that other love language that you can use. So that was day 2 of our love languages. That was a quick fly through. Please do buy the book. We've got the cover up here for you so you can see it. You can go and grab it. It really is an amazing little book, and it has such an impact. And as I said, again, with all of these, go and try them at home as well. You may find that the love languages suit you in the personal space as well. Well, if you've enjoyed the session and you're following us on YouTube, please like and subscribe below on the page. If you're following us from Facebook or LinkedIn, it's always great to see you here. Thanks so much for joining us. And then please like and share And then go over to YouTube and click on subscribe. I look forward to seeing you at the next Performance Cafe.